Hey, welcome to Main Pod Girl, a podcast made by Popheads for Popheads. Every episode we'll be diving into all kinds of pop culture topics with some of our favorite artists and music commentators. I'm your host, AJ Marks, and today's special guest is no stranger to music commentary, with hundreds of thousands of subscribers on YouTube and TikTok, as well as his own podcast, Nicky at Night. It's Nicky Reardon, and Nicky is here to help us discuss the Grammys. We have not talked about the Grammys since episode 2, I'm pretty sure. And this is episode 102. So that means it's been 100 episodes officially since we've even talked about the Grammys on this show. And truly, what better way to get back into the topic than talking about the best new artist race for this year. And nominations will be revealed in a few days. Let's get into it. Let's talk about who we think is going to be nominated.
So it is a tough year for nominations. I feel like, unlike Sabrina and Chapel, who were like total shoo-ins last year, and it was really just like their win to lose, it feels like this year is kind of, there are a lot of people on the same sort of playing fields.
It's anyone's year to win.
Yeah.
I mean, literally last year, 6 out of the 8 nominees had a song with over 1 billion streams.
Yes.
Which is like insane. And this year, I think we'll be lucky if 1 or 2 of them have it. And anyone could win,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like it is really, really cool and exciting in that way, especially because like last year was very like a real best new artist story. You know, like Chapel was very like
Totally
the epitome of like we haven't had one like that since like Olivia Rodrigo and like Billie.
Mm-hmm.
And this year is a lot more ambiguous, but in a way that like really anyone can get it, which is I think why it's exciting to talk about.
Yes. And, you know, it's like last year, the medley that they did of all the best new artists could have easily been all of the individual performances at the Grammys. You could have just had that and everyone would have been satisfied.
Yeah, I love the new artist medley. I hope they do that like every year from now on. I thought it was so cool.
The thing I really like about this year is that like, yeah, I want my faves to win, but if they're already super popular and they're not really going to benefit much from a Grammy other than like them personally know it. Like, you know what I mean? Like when the same people win the same Grammys every year, you're like, okay, that's great. It doesn't really add much to the narrative of their story. It doesn't get them like, cause Grammys really, the importance is the impact that it has after someone wins the Grammys. Like, you know, a lot of artists have like seen like a huge streaming boost. They've like been introduced to a lot of new fans, like a lot of people who wouldn't normally like listen to the top 50 songs on Spotify, but they might listen to every best new artist at the Grammys or at least one. So
and even stuff I think from like the label end, you know, like I think if somebody gets a best new artist nom or win, like they get a lot more budget on their next album.
Exactly.
Like that type of stuff is just how it works and how it happens.
Mm-hmm.
And I very much agree with you. I like about the sentiment of kind of like enjoying it when it's somebody I really think will benefit from the win.
Yeah.
And I think that's why people didn't vote for Sabrina last year. It was literally like, I think the consensus was like, Sabrina's made it. You know, so like nobody felt any, and we're all pretty confident she's going to win something else, right? Like whether that was record or song or best pop vocal, which she did win, like, and I think that's why people gravitated more towards the Chapel, right? Because like Chapel again had this narrative of being a new artist, truly in a way that other people didn't, and I think that's what made it feel so exciting. Like it was her moment.
Yeah. I mean, and Doechii, I think that Doechii got her own sort of spotlight with that performance and with the best rap album win. So that's kind of what I'm looking for when we're going to talk about best new artist nominations and like who I personally want to win. It's like there are some people who would benefit just less from getting an award like this, because you also think the people at the Grammys, they're made up of people who, you know, someone's job isn't just Grammys. It's they do a bunch of other things and then they also do the Grammys. So these people are very influential in the music industry. If they, you know, are tied to the Grammys and the best new artist, someone gets a best new artist award, moving forward, they're going to be incentivized to support them because they want to prove that the Grammys have impact as well. You know what I mean? So it's like they're even getting people who are like just more motivated to connect them and go out of their way for whoever wins best new artist. So I think it is probably the most important award, even if it's not the flashiest, just because it does really benefit newer artists. If you're awarding something that's album of the year, it's likely already gone out of its album cycle, and it's not like new people are just going to be learning about it. They just voted for it, but it's different with best new artist.
Well, I think we should start with like the shoe-ins because the way I kind of did mine was through process of elimination.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Like I started thinking, I'm like, okay, who do I really think is like guaranteed? Then there's who I have sort of like a maybe roster, right? I have like about like 6 people I think are guaranteed. Then I have
6
like
guarantees. Wow. Okay. I did not have that
I
many.
have like
I had
really
3.
I don't know, this is just also like my take, like my guess.
Yeah.
Then like I have like 8 maybes, but a lot of them are based off of like if person A doesn't get it, I think person B gets it.
Yeah.
Because the way also like best new artist is really the only category at the Grammys they like really intentionally cast genre diversity, which is cool and interesting. So like some of them are like, oh, if this R&B person doesn't get it, I think this person gets it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that's kind of how a lot of the way I like sort of thought about mine. So starting with like the guarantees, I think the two easy 3 actually I would say are like Somber, Alex Warren, and Raven Lenae are like 3 that just I think have to get it no matter what.
Right. I mean, Raven Lenae is definitely up there for me, but I had 3 guarantees. 2 of them were Somber and Alex Warren. The third one was Sleep Token.
Really? I don't have them on my list at all.
Really? And maybe I'm biased because I really do love Sleep Token, and I've seen a show of theirs, and their fans are they have such an insane fan base. But with no mainstream hits or even really like none of their songs have popped off in a way that you would be like Sleep Token, they do that song. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like no song has overshadowed the band as a whole and their project as a whole. But their album, they had an album bomb this year. I think it was all 12 or all 15 songs were on the Hot 100. And
wow.
this was the first year that they've even charted. And they've gone from first year even charting to a whole album bomb this year and a -- 1 album in the US. And I just think that's undeniable. I mean, the fact that they are in their own lane commercially, being kind of like heavy metal pop is really just unique. And it's something that I think if you were looking at top 40, I don't think anything reached the top 40 or maybe just slightly, but you would just they'd be like a blip on your radar. But I think that for best new artist, I don't think anyone's had as like strangely like powerful of a year as they have, because they have been doing this for a while.
Strangely powerful is a great
strangely
term.
Powerful. Yeah, it just because I'm trying to think of things that can't really apply to other people, but yeah, no, I definitely think that they would be a shoo-in, just like you said, genre diversity. I just think that they are unique enough to really stand out, so people wouldn't be nominating them for a song or for one specific moment. They'd be nominating them because of like it's best new artist. I think they might not get much of anything else outside of the genre categories, but just the best new artist nom is what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm into it.
Whereas like Alex Warren's the opposite. Alex Warren would be based off of Ordinary and that one big song.
There is a universe that Alex Warren is the front runner, which is a crazy thing to say. I personally am not the biggest fan of Alex Warren's music, but I will not deny like the absolute streaming success and like commercial success it has had. And he won Best New Artist at the VMAs. So like that, you can make the argument that he is the front runner. Also, something I think super interesting when I was doing research for this, I don't remember the exact person it was, but off the top of my memory, like I don't think a man has won Best New Artist in like 10 years. And like I could see that being something that they want to give it to a boy, like either a Somber or an Alex Warren. Like either one would not surprise me at all.
It was Chance the Rapper in 2017.
Chance the Rapper. There you go. Okay, so 8 years. 8 years. But still, 8 years is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's a ridiculous amount of time. So I could really see them wanting to do that. And also, like, this is a year where, like, boys did stuff.
Boys did do stuff, for better or for worse.
Notoriously, boys not doing much. Like, I will give it to them. They did stuff this year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think Raven Lenae is a shoe-in from one. She had one of the biggest songs of the year.
Yeah.
I think Love Me Not was absolutely like one of the biggest songs of the summer. And I also think she represents this like complete like deconstruction of genre. You know, like she kind of was like R&B leaning before, but then this song is like so like indie pop.
Yeah.
And had a Rex Orange County feature and like and one of the versions and like you know what I mean, like I just think there's no one like her, and that's really really cool. And it's also like there's no one like her backed by real commercial success from the album, which is why I put her on my guarantee. For my sort of like R&B pick, I put Leon Thomas.
Oh, why did I not think of that?
Because he's one of the ones where technically his album came out in 2024, but it's in this cycle.
Yeah.
So like Mutt was huge.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of other songs from that album that were big. I think he has like over 10 million monthly listeners. And I also very much see, industry people loving him the same way they love Victoria Monet. You know what I mean? Like he's someone who has just been around. Like he got into music at the same time Ariana Grande did. You know what I mean? And like has been a songwriter for years and years before that. And
produced a lot of Ariana's first album. I didn't realize he was in the Rascals.
Yeah, he is incredibly talented. Like and I think he's one of those people that like true music people in the industry have always known had it. So I really see him potentially getting it this year because of that. And again, also, like, the songs are incredible. The album's incredible. Like, he has the success to back it up.
Yeah.
I feel like lately, every year, they've been doing their sort of, like, quote-unquote legacy pick, which is, like, an artist who's not actually new, but is, like, having their, mainstream moment this year. Like, last year was Sabrina.
Yeah.
And I really feel like that sort of pick this year will be the Marias.
That would track, right? Because this isn't even their breakout year, too. Like, they broke out before this eligibility period anyway, but they've just, I guess, broke out more. I don't know.
I also just feel like they've just, like, been on a rising slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like since, from, like, Submarine to, like, opening for Billy to, like, Coachella to, like, Nothing New and releasing 2 singles this year. Like, I just feel like and now Maria's about to do some solo thing. She's about to come out, I think, like, this weekend, something like that, next week, soon. They just feel like that to me. I also could see, again, talking about the genre diversity, like, the Grammys counting that as their, like, sort of, like, Latin music pick also.
Yeah.
Doing sort of, like, like a 2-for-1 type situation with this. And, I think the Marias are fucking incredible. They're also one of the ones that, like, if they won, I would be ecstatic. Do I think that it's probably going to happen? I'm not sure, but, like, I would fucking love that. And I think their music is just so incredible.
With going off of the legacy pick thing, I mean, from the Best New Artist rules that we were told back, I think the last time they were applicable were, like, 2 years ago. But they said, I think it was supposed to be, like, you have to have released less than 30 songs or had your debut album come out in the eligibility period.
Interesting.
Or not have a debut album come out, something like that. But in the past 5 ceremonies, even though they were in effect for most of these ceremonies, they've bended the Best New Artist rules for 51% of the artists that were officially nominated.
Also, Best New Artist is one they've changed often. It's like the only category that's like subject to change multiple times. Yes. And also, they have said that, like, one of the criteria of Best New Artist is, like, having a mainstream cultural moment, quote unquote, which is, like, perfectly subject to ambiguity. You know what I mean? Like, which I kind of like. I actually very much like this change. Like, it was cool that Sabrina got nominated last year. You know what I mean? Like, that was her cultural moment. Like, there were 5 albums before it, but, like, all of those albums combined did not impact culture as much as, like, just Short and Sweet did. You know what I mean?
Also, Hollywood Records albums kinda don't count. I mean, like, and they did. I think the quote that they said starting last year was, for a new artist who releases during the eligibility year, the first recording which establishes the public identity of that artist. So I think technically the Marias would not count because their big hit, I think, came before August 31st, 2024. But I would not be surprised if they don't care about that rule. Because
I don't
again,
know.
I don't think they
I really don't
really.
know.
I think they just kind of go based on vibes, you know?
Yeah.
Mostly vibes.
And then my last, this is like my least, I think, guaranteed of all the sort of quote unquote guaranteed picks that I had. Um, and I actually changed this one due to recent news. I think before I would have said Lola Young.
Right. I was thinking
But
about you when this came out because I remember at the top of last year you were like, "Look out for Lola Young." Like I remember your reels being like, "She's the future of music, and here's why," and I thought that was so fascinating. So every time I think of her, I think of that reel. Actually,
she's incredible. She's so talented. I like that she's weird.
yeah,
Like I like that. Like I think she has such a voice to where she could do like Adele type music if she wanted to. And I love that she's just not like that at all. You know what
yes,
I mean? Like
she's so much more
is
Remy Wolf, working
yeah.
with the same producers. But I have to tell you about this tweet I saw the other day. It said Lola Young is like Adele if she were Fergie. I was like, stop.
No, my replacement for Lola after the thing
Mhm.
is I don't know, like she could still get in, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But also like the weird thing with the way Grammys campaignings work is I think there's so much recency bias, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the times it's not who had the biggest year, it's like who had the biggest last 3 months up
Mhm.
to the Grammys, you know,
Yeah.
like because it's just like the people that are really top of mind. Which is why I think Lola could switch for Olivia Dean.
Mm.
I think they're both like, you know, in pop, but not really the typical pop girl. I think Olivia Dean represents this sort of like jazz pop fusion that we've really seen grow as a genre, you know, like the Claros and the Leves and the God, why am I Ray last year?
Yeah.
You know, like that sort of pop jazz has like really, really emerged. And Man I Need is the biggest song off of this album, and it is in the eligibility period. Like it came out before the deadline.
Yeah, that's true.
So I could see Olivia Dean being one of those things where they're like, okay, that's a really big song. And then even though this album doesn't technically count within the criteria, it's just like everyone's going to talk about her so much for the next 3 to 6 months, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
From this just came off of opening from Sabrina, you know, like that could be the sort of mainstream cultural moment they're referring to. So she's kind of the one I pick, and I think she's just like a real like industry darling. I think everyone I know who like works at a music label is obsessed with Olivia Dean,
That's true.
and I'm obsessed with Olivia Dean. So truly, I would maybe make a claim like I think if she gets nominated, she'll win, or she won't get nominated at all. That's kind of how I feel about it.
Yeah, like you said, all of that success is really after the eligibility period, which is August 30th. Like a
Yeah.
lot of people who are voting had probably had no idea who she was before that time. Or maybe I'm generalizing,
She had
but
an album before that was big.
yeah.
This is her second album.
But I feel like she was at least for American audiences, I feel like she's a lot newer, right?
Right.
But the nominee voting is October 3rd to October 15th. So it is literally this week.
Yeah.
And I think that this is Olivia Dean's week.
And that's also why I'm saying like I could see like if Lola truly ends up taking off for like three
Yeah.
months, Olivia could be sort of like the filler, I guess, if that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Two
But
very
also,
different artists, but I totally see what you mean of just like they have a similar sort of trajectory.
yeah, or
Yeah.
like both British, both big
Yeah.
vocalists, both kind of, you know, relatively coming up around the same
Yeah.
time. And I also just feel like that they're to have all of it would be too much pop.
It's true. Like last year. So we had our shoe-ins, right?
Okay.
Next category I think we should go for are the ones that we're rooting for. So the main artists
Our
that we
darlings.
want to get nominated, even if they only have like a slight chance at being recognized.
Okay.
Just who we would love to see on that screen that we haven't already talked about.
I am an Addison Rae truther.
Yes, first one on my list
I
too.
let me tell you, and I'll say this on the record.
Go for it.
Okay. Addison Rae had a better pop album than Taylor Swift this year. She just did.
You know what's funny? Most major publications agree with you.
Yes. It was just perfect. Like like everything Addison Rae did was just one, I think it's like one of the most impressive album rollouts I've seen.
Yeah.
Two, I think she has really like intentionally like put herself in places where she knew she was going to be criticized and made fun of, but is like doing it to prove herself.
Yeah.
You know, like her performances, like her press has been things like Zane Lowe and like the pop, you know, the New York Times Popcast.
Yeah.
And she did the Grammy Museum performances. And, you know, there's all this like criticism of her vocals on tour, and she like still hasn't turned it down at all. You know, like
exactly.
Like I really think she is like invested in winning people over, which is and at any cost, even to like, you know, the amount of backlash that she's getting for some decisions like that. Again, like her vocals on tour and whatnot. And I think that's so fucking cool and just like admirable as a human being and an artist. And two, like I think Addison just nailed everything that is pop star. Like it is almost to the point where it's like so self-aware and satirical, but like that is what's so beautiful about it.
What Scream is to horror movies, she is to pop stardom. I feel like she's like that meta
great
version.
Example.
Yeah,
great. Yes, like to the point where you realize you're like, this person had to study pop music so much to almost like create this persona. Like something I said to one of my friends is like, I truly think like Addison Rae is a concept album, but like the concept is pop star.
Yeah.
And like the gag is to do everything that a pop star would do. Yes. And the blonde wigs and you know, like the dancing and the being naked like Britney, you know, bra and underwear and Diet Pepsi music video and like
the Charlie XCX adjacency. Yeah.
Yes, like it is just like everything about, you know, in the Aquamarine video, she smokes like 4 cigarettes at once, and it's like there's no logic or reason to it. Yeah. Like it's just pop star. The album cover being like a Hillary Duff reference. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it is so like.
Wait, it's a Hillary Duff reference?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, it always gave Jessica Simpson to me.
It's supposed to be like the sort of Disney Channel era, you know, like pop star, right? Like totally. Very much like, you know, Selena Gomez in the Scene type.
Exactly.
That era of pop. And that was also, I think, another super impressive thing about Addison is I would say that she's really the first person to, I think, hit like 2010s references well in a way that's not like cringe, but like there's so much fucking obsession with Y2K. I'm so over it. Like, I'm so over it. You know what I mean? But I'm like, yes, I love that you did Aquamarine. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like a Disney Channel original movie with Emma Roberts from like 2009 or whatever the fuck. Like that was like no one else is doing that. And I don't think they had that in them, right? Like you had to be exactly sort of her age and be obsessed with pop culture at that time to like get that and want to do that.
Yeah. And you don't need that context to get it or to like to enjoy it, but but that context adds so much value.
It's there. Yeah. And it's like the type of thing where it's like it's a reference, but it's not like an imitation. Yeah. You know, like it's just that's what it's referring to. Yeah. So yeah, she's like I wish if I could pick a winner, if the Grammys were
that would be crazy.
That's Addison Rae Best New Artist.
Could you imagine?
There's no way though. I feel like the Grammys is like way too like snotty and like like, you know what I mean?
You don't think she's going to get nominated at all?
I don't think she's going to get nominated at all.
I feel like it's not as much of a long shot as you think.
I agree with that. Like it wouldn't surprise me. And if I would scream for where I'm going out that night. You know what I mean? Like I'm screaming from every rooftop. But like
there'd be 2 Hype House members nominated probably.
Which would be so crazy. But so beautiful for the lore of the internet. Like, yes. So beautiful.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. For rooting for, I also had Renee Rapp on there.
I would love, but I still think Renee Rapp needs to prove herself musically.
Oh, this is music. I was thinking more like commercially she needs to prove herself. I really liked this most recent album, even though I feel like she has more to her. Like I feel like the singles led me to believe this was going to be my album of 2025, and it wasn't quite that. It's definitely in the top 10, I want to say, but it's not as bulletproof as I was hoping based on the singles. I really, really do think that she has something great in her. I think she just needs to find her sound.
Correct.
Yeah.
100%. That's exactly what I was about to say. She is debatably, in my opinion, the most vocally talented music artist making music right now, right? Like you could put her in, or like out of like the newer the newer echelon, right? Like at least top 5.
Yeah.
At least. And she makes pop music anyone else could make. That is my take.
Yeah.
And I'm like something about like Ariana Grande very early on in her career is like she very much found the right sort of writers and songs.
Yeah.
To incorporate her vocal into these things that were very, very commercial. You think a song like Break Free or God is a Woman, right? Like they're these massive pop songs, but also like I don't think any pop girl had the vocal range to like do that song.
Yes.
And Renee has not found those types of songs yet. And I know the second she does, like that's when everything's gonna click for her because I think she has this voice that is like so incredible. And also something I really would want to see more from her is like, I think Renee Rapp is one of the funniest people alive. Like she's so like, all of her press is like could be a stand-up comedy show, but like so rarely have I ever heard her actually discuss her music, right? Like I don't feel like I know much about like the stories of these songs, and I want to see her really again like dive into what is the artist of Renee Rapp, not who is just the person Renee Rapp.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. And when you talked about her Presk being like could be a comedy routine, I like pictured her with Nathan Fielder for some reason doing like a movie. I feel like that could totally work.
She can do anything.
I feel like she is very versatile, but I think that whereas it works with some artists, it hinders others. So it's like I think of like Noah Cyrus, who I love, but when she first came out, she could do all these things. She could do the XXX Tentacion collabs. She could do the country stuff. She could do the like more like folk pop stuff. And she's decided every single was going to be a completely different sound, and it just didn't work for her. With this Renee Rapp album, I thought it was going to be pop rock, and based on the first 2 singles. And I think that was the extent of the pop, or maybe Shy, but like I think that like there were like 3 songs on there, so I was a little confused because there's more like disco on it than there is pop rock. So I feel like if she had went down the Olivia route of like picking 1 or 2 things that she did, whether it's I'm gonna do half pop rock, half like muso R&B, or do half pop disco and half muso R&B, like something like that, I feel like that could make sense. But it was like 3 or 4. I think most great albums have 2 lanes that they're blending together. Like think of like The Fame, for example. It was like half like retro pop, like pastiches, and then half like futuristic pop. And that's kind of like the unspoken like beauty of that album is like it's straddling those 2, like the future of pop and the past of pop. And most albums kind of are alternating between 2 sort of modes. I would just like to see her do something like that where she chooses to and she just full sends, because some of her lyrics are so interesting and I'm like, I want to know more. I want to know more about that.
Right. So. I exactly. I don't think it's like a lack of talent problem, even remotely close. Yeah. It's like a lack of direction problem.
Yeah. Other people we're rooting for. Throw out a name.
Again, I said Lola. You know, she could get it. Wouldn't surprise me. We know I want her. I honestly think if there weren't so many other men, Role Model would get it this year. But I think that there's like other men that are similar to him enough, but have done it bigger and better and have bigger songs.
Yeah.
And that is like the sad reality is that Role Model doesn't have a massive song, which is crazy because he's played like massive crowds. You know, he is so lovable, but he's another one where again, like I think he needs to find his sound.
Yeah, and I know, and so you would be like pleasantly surprised to see his name on the list.
I would be very surprised.
Yeah.
I would be very surprised, but I like, you know, if we want to talk about somebody who's like really done a great job at like building a fandom and being funny and like, you know, being a cute boy, Somber has done that better and bigger.
Yeah.
And if you want to see somebody who's in this more sort of like folky type sound, very middle America type music, Alex Warren has done that better. You know, like that. And that's where role model, I feel like, is in a tough spot, right? Like what's interesting about him is that he did both of those things, but neither of them as big as either of the two. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah, and people would probably be voting on one of those two things. I'm going to throw out 3 other names. These are the other 3 that I'm rooting for that I feel like have a slight chance, maybe. I don't know. So Rachel Chinner, these are all people who have actually been on this podcast before that I'm really rooting to see them spotlit in some way. Rachel Chinneriri,
would love,
who I know a lot of people are talking about now. She's been having a great moment. She's awesome. Just throwing that out there for anyone who's just curious what she's like behind the scenes. She's awesome. She's fucking awesome. Rose Gray is another one who just really kind of felt like the it girl this year for gays. Just felt like the new like micro pop star that's in a couple years probably gonna have that big, moment. But most of our micro pop stars, like Charlie XCX, Carly Rae Jepsen, well, Charlie before last year, Carly Rae Jepsen, Marina, Lorde, a lot of cult favorites are artists who had, the one hit wonder trajectory or like a couple hits and then they faded from like the mainstream and the certain corner of the Popheads internet still appreciates them. But now we're seeing with Rose Gray, there are artists who are not having that big #1 song and then disappears for a couple years and then becomes a cult fan favorite. She's just going straight into that, which I think is so fascinating. That and kind of Addison Rae, because Diet Pepsi wasn't as big as like an espresso per se. I mean, nothing was, but even it wasn't even top 50, I don't think. So
but Diet Pepsi is still a huge song.
It was huge.
But it has like 500 million streams.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That makes me think about how like Sweater Weather is like the 4th most played song in Spotify history.
It's an incredible song.
And it's like
Sweater Weather is an incredible song.
And it never had that like big moment. I think it was like number 17 or something. But it was like it was one of those things that just lasted for a long time. So I'm not saying Diet Pepsi is quite Sweater Weather-esque, but it's like it's in that camp. The last one I want to say is Jensen McRae, who would be much more of a long shot than the others. However, I haven't even seen anyone kind of throw her name around for this necessarily, but I've been really, really loving her album, and she's great. It's just her lyrics are just bulletproof, right? They're so good and they're so descriptive and they give me chills even months after the album came out. So those would be other people I'm rooting for. What about you? Do you have anyone else in this category before we get to the next one?
No, I would say names that I thought of: Mariah the Scientist.
Yes.
I think we need someone from country. So I feel like Megan Maroney will get it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could totally see that.
I said, or I could see like a Jessie Murph type.
Okay, I was going to talk about Jessie Murph. I didn't have her necessarily in the rooting for, but I really, Popheads Don't Kill Me, I really do love that album. I know that she's been a little controversial. I think she's satirically leaning into the trad wife moment, but I don't think that that's necessarily coming across to some people. So they think that she's being very genuine about it, or they're just very fed up with seeing it in general, which I can also understand. I just think that she's very tongue in cheek with how she approaches these things. And she's kind of like Amy Winehouse meets like Lana Del Rey. It's very interesting. Not that she's really close to either of those people, but
right.
I've found her songwriting very, very interesting this year.
Yeah, I think she's super interesting, and again, like would be one of the ones that wouldn't surprise me. And then also one that I wouldn't be surprised either way is like Cat's Eye.
Yes,
because we haven't had a group in fucking forever.
Mm-hmm.
They have over 30 million monthly listeners, which is crazy. Gabriella has like over 300 million streams. Like that's a big song.
Mm-hmm.
But also the Grammys kind of notoriously hate K-pop. then, so I don't know if Cat's Eye gets lumped in with this sort of like, oh, you're just like K-pop type thing, or is there like, oh, exciting new girl group? You know what I mean? Like I don't know which way it goes for them.
So that takes me to the next category, which is wildcards of artists that we could maybe see being nominated, even if it's a long shot. You were
Yeah.
talking about K-pop. I think in a strange, bizarre world, Huntrix could be nominated. I could
I don't
see
even
it.
think that's strange. I actually don't even think that's strange. That's so the industry of music wanting to capitalize off of a big moment and to like cash out,
That's like nominating
eh,
Hannah Montana before you nominate Miley
right,
Cyrus. It's
right. Another interesting thing about K-pop
Mhm.
is that technically Blackpink has never won a Grammy or been nominated for a Grammy. So all of those girls can qualify for Best New Artist,
Yes.
which is a really interesting thing, right?
I've seen some
like
predictions for Rose or Jenny.
yeah.
Um,
I think if they want to, like Rose has a song with like over 2 billion streams in this cycle. She had a massive album,
yeah.
right? Like it's actually not crazy at all for Rose to get a Best New Artist nomination. Then again, like one, the Grammys hate K-pop. Two, when we talk about this sort of like mainstream cultural thing, like, is it crazy for somebody who's like already headlined Coachella to now get to be a Best New Artist? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I did not think
Like,
about that. That's
like
crazy.
that's something like like it would make me sad. Not that I think she doesn't deserve it, but
Mhm.
if like Somber losing to Rose, you know what I mean? Like 19-year-old kid on album one versus like Matt came from one of the biggest girl groups to ever exist, has already headlined Coachella, and like now just did a solo project and then wins. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just wouldn't feel like they've had the same amount of time to cook.
But another wild
Right.
card I like to throw out there, Conan Gray. But I
I could also see that.
but I do think it's a little bit more of a long shot. This is what his third album, fourth maybe. I don't feel like there's been any sort of particular progression with his commercial success tied to this album more so than other albums, which is why I feel like it would be more
No,
of a long shot. Like I don't think you can make the case that he's
no,
more of a best new artist now than he was however many years ago.
I agree. But I really think he's like getting there. Like he's starting to figure it out in some way.
Yeah.
Also, something that I was going to say that wouldn't surprise me is like Conan Gray could be out of chances because you're only allowed to submit yourself for Best New Artist 3 times ever.
Yeah.
And like his first 2 albums, definitely he submitted for. Like they were massive albums. It's actually crazy that I don't think he got it either of those times.
Yeah.
And if he submitted for Found Heaven also, then he would be out of chances. Like he could never submit again.
Yeah, so he's he's probably out, but we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know. We'll never know.
My
But
last
yeah,
wild card is Zara Larson, who
Zara Larson's also really could get it now too.
yeah.
Again, I think it's so like we have so much of that type of pop this year
Yeah.
that some of them have to not get it, right? Like there's
Totally.
no chance in hell Addison and Zara Larson get nominated. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? Like it's one or the other type situation, I think. So
I wonder if she's ever won a Grammy though, or been nominated for a
all
Grammy.
you have to do is not win. You can be nominated.
Yeah, she does not have a Grammy. She has GRAMMYs with an I, which is the Swedish Grammys. which, which I didn't even know was a thing until just now. But
Me
yeah,
neither.
so
That's
yeah, so she's safe.
hilarious.
So she could definitely, I mean, depends on how many times
All right.
she's submitted herself too. Because this is what, her fifth
Same.
album?
Like also, one I do know for a fact is Tate McRae can't. I think like
Yeah.
Tate McRae has submitted 3 times, and that's why she's not on any of these like industry lists you've seen.
Such a I mean, but the thing is also it's like artists who have more of a slow and strange rise to fame as opposed to like a Chapel or a Sabrina where just like all of a sudden they blow up. I think it and she like hit a weird point in the like eligibility years too with Greedy. I think it makes sense.
Yeah.
Not everyone needs to be nominated once. So I think like in her legacy it's like
No, I don't think
not a
so
huge
either.
miss. Yeah. Any other wild cards?
The only other wild card I would say is like we need a rapper. There's always a rapper. And this is, I'd say, the first year, at least for the past few years, like I don't think there was a clear who that would be, right? Like 2 years ago, we knew it was going to be Ice Spice, and then last year we knew it was going to be Doechii.
I think I know who it's going to be. If there was a rapper, it would be
Who?
Big X the Plug. Because think about it, Big X the Plug.
You think?
Bunch of songs on the Hot 100 in the past 12 months, and then like starts making a country album and collaborating with a bunch of country artists. So I'm just thinking about like if everyone's able to vote for who's nominated, it's like he kind of works as the country pick and the rapper pick because, you know, his songs recently with Bailey Zimmerman, like that was a top 10 hit and that was like Big X's first top 40 hit and it was like number 4 or something like that. Like it was crazy. So I could see him
I could see it. My only thing is like I don't know if they'll like dock him points for this, air quote, so to speak, of like the entire album was a collab album.
Yeah.
So like did he have big hits? Yes, but those are all songs with features with artists who are bigger than him.
It's
so
true.
like does that, you know what I mean? Do they attribute that to being a Bailey Zimmerman song? Or do they like that's the type of thing I could see, but another one I thought it was Lil Tecca.
I guess Glorilla could also be on that block. Hasn't had any really big songs attributed just to her that have been like real big smashes. She's had a bunch on the fringes and a bunch of good features and a bunch of good collabs. And then next category,
okay,
the personal BNA. So your favorite artists that you personally discovered this year, whether they're new or not.
You know, like I do think Addison Rae kind of fits in that category, not in the sense that I like discovered her. Obviously, I knew who she was, but like, damn, did she win me over this year? You know what I mean? Like, definitely in that type of sense. I want to say Olivia Dean is another one of those for me also. Like, I knew of her, but like, really, it was this album that like sold me on her and like where I think she's gonna go from here. I also really, really got into, she's won a Grammy before, but like Leve was like this year, like this album really, really sold me on her. Also, I saw her live for the first time this year, which really, really sold me on her. Audrey Hobart. That's my answer.
Right. Okay. No,
Audrey Hobart.
I can see that.
That's my answer of like new artists I really discovered this year and just absolutely love. I think she's just like nailed that like bedroom pop sound so perfectly. Like she's so good.
For me, trying to think. I think I've shouted all of these artists out here on the podcast before, probably many times. But just as a recap of how my year has gone, Maris interviewed her this year. She's incredible. Rose Gray, same. She was on the podcast. Love her. Chloe Keisha, I got to interview her. Jay Stevens, so good. Daniel Seavey from Why Don't We, who I didn't even know he was from Why Don't We, and I had
me neither. I love Daniel Seavey.
I had a member of Why Don't We on the podcast, and I was talking to him about Daniel, not realizing it was the same Daniel this whole time. I like listened back to that episode, and I was like, oh boy. But Grant Kanoki as well.
I also know Grant.
Just had him on the show, and he is awesome. And so, yeah, that's my list. As you can tell, everyone who has been my personal best new artist, I've definitely sought out.
That's great. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah, exactly. So, but they've really all made my year. Oh, and then Jade, obvious. I mean,
Jade.
She had Angel of My Dreams last year, so I think technically it doesn't work. But Jade, imagine if
Angel of My Dreams is like the most insane pop song ever. Like, right? There aren't enough streams. Like, it deserves 100 billion. Like, the transitions in that song, everything about it is just, it's insane.
You can tell incredible. It's just recognition standing in her way, though, because it's like it's not like it's the quality of the song not appealing to the masses, because you have her track record in the UK with these songs.
Yeah.
And you're like, Angel of My Dreams was a top 10 hit. You know, it's like clearly if it's service to the right people and it has the right people in the industry backing it, it has the power to be a top 10 hit. And I believe that about a lot of the songs on this album. I feel like she really could have had a Charlie XCX-ish moment this year, but I guess that just didn't happen yet.
I think it's just going to take time. Yeah. I just think it's going to take time. Totally. That's literally what I think. I think she needs to like build the lore, and she needs to tour, and she, open for Chapel, and like she's just in that stage where she needs to do stuff like that. And then one day it'll catch fire, and like everybody will be talking about her.
The Chapel connection is genius. Like
perfect opener for her.
Yeah. It's Daughters of Lady Gaga, like right there.
Exactly.
Okay, so any other contenders before we move on to our final predictions list?
No, I have given, I guess I'll say like another like fan fave, not contenders, like Adele. I think Adele is so good. But she needs like her first album to where she's like best new artist.
I've been talking about getting her on the show too, because I'm
obsessed with her.
Huge on her music this year. Okay, other names I'm just gonna throw out real quick.
Go for it.
I've seen them around in the discourse a lot. Zach Top, and Ella Langley as the country picks, and then Miles Smith as the singer-songwriter pick. That, you know, he was really big in the UK, and then he moved, like his success moved over to the US. I think Stargazing was like a super stable hit. He had a really stable hit with Stargazing, and had a bunch of smaller hits too, which is, I feel like you just don't see that too often with people having a breakout, that they're having a bunch of other breakouts almost simultaneously with other songs. So I think for that reason, he would definitely be a strong contender to be nominated. I could see it, but he's not my final prediction. Let's hear your final list of the 8 that you would put money on, your final predictions, and then we're going to go into your winner prediction and your winner hope out of that 8.
Okay. I'm going to stick to my initial 6. So Somber, Alex Warren, Leon Thomas, Raven Lenae, The Marias, Olivia Dean. After that, I get 2 more. I feel like Megan Maroney. Like, I really feel like we need like a real country pick. And I feel like there needs to be a rapper. I'm going to say Lil Tecca. I'm not so confident on him specifically as I am. It's just like the last thought for sure will be a rapper. Glorilla is also a possibility. So is Big X the Plug, like you said earlier. I don't know. One of those type artists.
Right.
My wish list pick would be Addison Rae, but she's not on my actual predictions. Out of those, God, honestly, so many of them could win, and I would love. Like, absolute dream of that, I think, would be maybe the Marias, honestly. Like, I love the Marias, and we haven't had, like, a real sort of, like, I guess maybe Victoria Monet would count as that, as someone who's just like been making music for a long time and like really, you know, getting that type of nomination. But also, I would love it if Somber won. I love Somber. Somber gets a lot of slander, but I love him. I think that
from who? I mean, I'm sure he does, but
everyone.
It's like everyone has
I also like think it's so fucking cool that he's like brought back rock. Like he's the first to, I think, really like figure out from like a Gen Z perspective of like, you know, what is the future of that genre going to be? And, you know, like Olivia touched on it, but in a very, you know, pop punk type of way, in a very, you know, Hayley Williams type of way. Whereas Somber feels like more Julian Casablancas and the Stones and even like the Beach Boys and type like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like I think it's cool that Somber feels like a band, but isn't a band.
Yeah, Olivia was pulling from pop rock songs of pop stars.
Yeah, like the Avril Lavigne type. Yeah. So yeah, I think that is going to be, and then who do I think is going to win? I really truly think, gosh, Alex Warren could win. No, I don't. I'm gonna say Olivia Dean. I think Olivia Dean.
Okay.
I think if she gets nominated, she'll win. I think she's so lovable and charming, and I think she represents like what is clearly a new emerging lane of pop. And I feel like everybody I know who like listens to her music just is obsessed with her.
My final predictions. There's definitely some overlap, but I went with some different picks. So I said Somber, Alex Warren, Sleep Token, right? Those are my shoo-ins.
Yep.
I'm going to stick with Lola Young instead of Olivia Dean, just for the eligibility period reasons, but I could be wrong. I'm going to say Raven Lenae, Big X the Plug, and then my last 2, Rachel Chinariri and Addison Rae. I'm just gonna send it. That's my prediction.
You gotta manifest. One of us has to. Yes. One of us has to.
My winner hope of those 8 would be Rachel Chinariri, though.
I would love that too.
It would benefit.
This is really a great year where like so many wins would make me happy.
Yes,
honestly.
Exactly. But winner prediction, it's gonna be Somber. You think? I really have no doubt in my mind.
I would love that.
Yeah.
I would love that. I truly don't know. Again, like one of the things that has like confused me about Somber is like his music is so sad and so yearning, and his presentation and his personality is so like meme and satire.
Yeah.
That I feel like there's like a very big disconnect between who he is musically and who he is in the real world.
Adele had that too, though, where everyone saw her
true.
personality and they were like, "Oh." So
that's very true.
It could be.
What a great comparison.
It could work for him.
What a great comparison.
Yeah.
I would have never made that, but I think you're actually spot on. That's a great take.
Thank you. Well, that's the show.
That's the show.
Wow.
Thank you for having me.
That's crazy. I'm going to be messaging you as soon as these nominations come out.
Please do.
Because I'll be so fascinated with how that works. And then
it's like literally, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like truly, this is a year where like I couldn't tell you. Like your exact date could happen and it wouldn't surprise me at all. Also, half of your exact date could not be on there, and I also wouldn't be. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
And it's like I would have never said that last year or the year before or anything. Like
yeah.
Thank you so much, Nicky, for joining me, and thank you to Noah for the theme music. Thank you to Chris for editing the episode. Make sure to rate and review us on whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on right now. Bye, y'all.